What if I told you there's a country spending $1.4 trillion, that's trillion with a T, to build cities that look like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie? We're talking about cities where you pay for your coffee with your face, where traffic lights predict jams before they happen, and where entire buildings are powered by the sun. This isn't a Hollywood movie, it's happening right now in China. The government is pouring more money into futuristic tech than most countries have in their entire economy, all to solve some of the world's biggest problems: pollution, traffic, and overcrowding. It's a massive high-stakes experiment to see if technology can truly build a perfect city. But is it creating a utopia or a digital cage? This isn't just about building shiny new towers, it's about a fundamental reshaping of how society works. Imagine a city where an AI brain manages everything, from the power grid to emergency services, cutting response times in half. Think about living in a place where you never have to carry a wallet, a key, or even your phone to get around. Tech giants like Alibaba, Tencent, and Huawei are at the heart of this revolution, turning urban centers into living labs for 5G networks, artificial intelligence, and new energy vehicles. The goal is bold: to create super-efficient, green, and hyper-connected metropolises for the hundreds of millions of people moving into cities. It's one of the most ambitious projects in human history, and we're about to dive headfirst into it. But here's the catch: this incredible push for progress comes with some mind-bending questions that affect all of us. When a city knows everything about you, where you go, what you buy, who you talk to, where do you draw the line between convenience and control? Is a perfectly efficient city worth giving up your privacy for? And what about the people left behind in this digital gold rush, like the elderly or those who can't afford the latest tech? Today we're not just looking at blueprints and buildings, we're exploring the very soul of these future cities, from their greatest triumphs to their most controversial secrets. Get ready to have your mind blown. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a wild ride through China's most futuristic urban jungles. We'll compare the top contenders battling for the title of City of the Future, from Shenzhen's eco-miracle to Chengdu's brand new, built-from-scratch ambition. We'll uncover stories you won't believe, from activists saving endangered birds with their protests to cities that literally soak up rainwater like a giant sponge. I want you to be the judge. By the end of this, you'll tell me which city is truly leading the charge. Let's get into it. This isn't just one city trying to be futuristic, it's a full-on national competition. China has picked hundreds of cities to be smart city test sites, which has started a big fight to see who can become the most high-tech and eco-friendly. This race is driven by one simple, scary fact. By 2050, more than two-thirds of the world's people will live in cities. If we don't figure out how to make them last, we're all in big trouble. So China is treating this like an Olympic sport, with each city trying to outdo the others with crazier, more clever ideas. It's a battle for bragging rights, for money, and for the chance to be the model for humanity's future. Forget what you think you know about city building. This goes way beyond building taller buildings or wider roads. We're talking about a full digital makeover. In Shanghai, for example, there's an app called Citizen Cloud that gives 10 million users access to over 1,000 public services right on their phones, from their health records to their bus pass. Meanwhile, in Beijing, officials use smart tech to track where air pollution comes from in real time, like a team of environmental detectives. Each city is coming up with its own special move, its own unique piece of future tech in this high-stakes game. It's like watching a real-life video game where the prize is a better world. The driving force behind this is the central government's huge 5-year plans, which have specifically made smart city development a national priority since 2011. This isn't a side project, it's a core part of China's plan for global leadership in the 21st century. The government is basically making a huge bet that whoever masters the art of building smart, sustainable cities will hold a major key to the future. This top-down approach means that when a decision is made, things happen incredibly fast. Whole neighborhoods can be redesigned and new technologies can be put in place for millions of people in the blink of an eye. But this super-fast pace of new ideas creates a whirlwind of questions. Who really benefits from all this technology? Is it the everyday citizen, or the huge companies and government groups collecting the data? This urban race is producing some of the world's most exciting breakthroughs, but it's also creating a landscape full of possible problems. As we look at the main competitors, I want you to think carefully. For every amazing piece of technology we find, ask yourself, what's the catch? Because in the race to build the city of tomorrow, there are always hidden costs. Let's start with the reigning champ, Shenzhen. If you want a mind-blowing story, check out Shenzhen. Just 40 years ago, this place was a quiet bunch of fishing villages with only a few thousand people. Today it's a huge city of over 17 million, and it's known worldwide as China's Silicon Valley. It's home to tech giants like Huawei, the 5G powerhouse, and Tencent, the company behind the super app WeChat. The city's change is one of the fastest and most amazing in human history. It went from fishing nets to computer networks in just one generation. This is where China's tech boom started. A place where the future isn't just planned, it's coded, built, and used every single day. The level of tech here is just crazy. Shenzhen's traffic system is run by AI that looks at data from all over the city to change traffic lights in real time, making travel times shorter and emergency vehicles move faster. In hospitals, AI helps doctors find illnesses with amazing speed and accuracy. The city government uses big data to give out public resources, from electricity to water, with amazing efficiency, saving billions of dollars and cutting down on waste. Vital organs for the planet, and they were disappearing fast. But then, the city did a complete U-turn. They launched a huge restoration project, and the results are amazing. The mangrove cover in Shenzhen Bay more than doubled between 2002 and 2022. They did it not by planting new trees, but by removing invasive species and letting the native mangroves grow back naturally. It was a huge win for nature, right in the shadow of a booming city. This comeback created a safe haven for wildlife, especially birds. The restored mangroves now support over 200 different kinds of birds. The most famous resident is the black-faced spoonbill, an incredibly rare and endangered bird. Its global population was once on the brink of disappearing forever, but today, Shenzhen Bay is home to the third largest wintering population of these birds in the world. Imagine that, one of the rarest birds on the planet choosing to chill out next to one of the world's busiest tech hubs. It's like finding a panda in the middle of Times Square. This success story has made Shenzhen a global example for urban biodiversity, but this victory wasn't just handed to them. It was fought for by the people. At one point, a huge tourist project threatened to destroy the newly restored mangroves. That's when birdwatchers, activists, and local citizens stood up and said no way. They organized, protested, and made their voices heard. And guess what? They won. The government stopped the project, showing that community power can make a real difference, even in a country known for its top-down control. Now the city has many environmental education centers, and the number of birdwatchers in China has shot up to over 340,000 people, inspired by stories like this. However, the fight is far from over. Shenzhen's ecosystem is under constant threat. The very skyscrapers that define its skyline are a danger, as birds can crash into the glass buildings. Industrial wastewater from an endless cycle of building and manufacturing still poses a risk to the bay, so even though Shenzhen has achieved an amazing balance, it's a fragile one. It's a daily struggle between the pressures of city growth and the needs of the natural world. Shenzhen is proof that a city can be both a tech giant and a nature sanctuary, but it's a tightrope walk over a very long drop. If Shenzhen is the city that reinvented itself, Chengdu is the city born from the future. Imagine you could build a brand new city from scratch, with no old infrastructure or bad habits to worry about. That's exactly what's happening with the Chengdu Future Science and Technology City. This isn't just a new neighborhood, it's a massive, sprawling urban center designed by world-renowned architects to be a global hub for science, education, and green living. It's already partly lived in and even open to tourists, which is honestly kind of wild because most future city projects in the world are just pretty drawings. Chengdu is actually building the dream. The vision here is completely different from a traditional city. Instead of a rigid grid of streets and blocks, the city's layout follows the natural curves of the landscape. Buildings are meant to blend in with the hills and valleys, not dominate them. The whole plan is about creating a seamless integration of urban and rural life, where you can walk from a high-tech lab to a peaceful green park in just a few minutes. It's designed to house new universities, corporate R&D centers, and international innovation parks, all surrounded by nature. The goal is to attract the world's brightest minds by offering them a place to work on cutting-edge science and live in a peaceful green environment. This project is the definition of go big or go home. It's an incredibly expensive and resource-intensive undertaking. Building a city from scratch takes a colossal amount of concrete, steel, and energy. And here's the big risk. What if you build it and, nobody comes? History is full of ambitious urban projects that turned into ghost towns, empty monuments to failed plans. Chengdu is betting that its unique blend of high-tech opportunity and high-quality living will be enough to attract the population needed to make it thrive. It's a high-stakes gamble with billions of dollars on the line. The sheer ambition is what makes Chengdu a powerful contender. It represents a different philosophy of building the future. While Shenzhen is adapting the future into an existing city, Chengdu is trying to create a perfect purpose-built utopia from scratch. It's a test to see if we can design a city that avoids all the mistakes of the past, the pollution, the traffic, the soulless concrete jungles. But it also brings up a big question. Is it better to fix the cities we have or abandon them and start anew? Which approach do you think is smarter? Let me know in the comments. So, How does Chengdu plan to avoid the usual problems of a modern big city? It's using some really smart tech, starting with something called the sponge city idea. We all know what happens in most cities when it rains a lot. The streets flood, the drain systems overflow, and it's a total mess. Chengdu is being built to do the opposite. It uses special sidewalks that let rainwater soak through, green roofs covered in plants that soak up water, and connected wetlands and parks that naturally collect and clean runoff water. The city literally acts like a giant sponge, soaking up rainwater, stopping floods, and reusing the water for watering plants, or refilling underground water. But the future tech in Chengdu isn't just on the ground, it's on your face, literally. Chengdu was one of the first cities in China to have a gigabit internet network and fully use face payment technology. You walk into a store, grab what you need, look at a camera, and walk out. The payment is automatically taken from your account. No cash, no card, no phone. It's the ultimate in easy, smooth shopping. But it's also the ultimate tool for collecting information. Would you feel okay with a system where your face is your credit card? It's a question millions of people in China are already answering every day. Let me know what you think. Yes or no to face payment? This mix of green tech and digital tech is what makes Chengdu's vision so interesting. On one hand, it's using nature-inspired solutions to be more sustainable and strong against climate change. On the other hand, it's pushing the limits of digital living, creating a super easy and data-driven society. It's a city that wants to be both green and smart, soft and hard, natural and digital. This combination is meant to create a better quality of life, where you have cleaner air, no floods, and you can buy groceries with just a glance. Sounds like a perfect paradise, right? But the risk of it becoming a ghost city, which we talked about, is very real. These amazing sponge city features and face payment systems are super expensive to build and keep up. If the city doesn't bring in enough people and businesses to make the money it needs to support all this advanced stuff, the whole project could fall apart under its own weight. It could become a beautiful, futuristic empty shell. Chengdu is walking a tightrope between a perfect dream and a bad failure. It's a big experiment, and the world is watching to see if this sponge will soak up residents or just a lot of money. While Shenzhen and Chengdu grab all the headlines, don't underestimate the other contenders. This futuristic race has a whole league of extraordinary cities, each with its own superpower. Take Hangzhou, for example. This is where Alibaba is located, and they've unleashed the city brain on their streets. This AI platform is like a god-tier city manager. It crunches insane amounts of data from across the city to manage traffic, and the results are amazing. It's cut average travel times, and more importantly, it's decreased emergency vehicle response times by 50%. In a life-or-death situation, that technology is a real hero. Hangzhou is also a pioneer of the cashless society. You can even get treatment at a hospital before you pay. Then you have Nanjing, which is taking smart infrastructure to the next level. It's developing a next-gen traffic system that doesn't just manage lights, it sends real-time updates directly to drivers' phones, warning them about accidents or congestion ahead. But its biggest gamble is the Nanjing Sino-Singapore Eco-High-Tech Island. This is a special zone where the goal is for every building to be powered entirely by clean energy, like solar or hydrogen power. Imagine an entire urban district with a zero-carbon footprint. It's a bold vision for how to power the cities of the future without burning up the planet. And the list goes on. There's Tianjin, which is also partnering with Singapore to build a 30-square-kilometer eco-city. This place is planned to be powered by solar and geothermal energy, with features like driverless public buses and a smart waste management system where trash is transported through underground pneumatic tubes. It sounds like something out of the Jetsons, but they're building it right now. Each of these cities is a testbed for a different piece of the futuristic puzzle. One is mastering AI governance, another is cracking clean energy, and another is reinventing transportation and waste. Together, these cities form a massive nationwide network of innovation. They learn from each other's successes and failures, creating a powerful feedback loop that accelerates progress. Beijing is using smart cards to store citizens' health information, while Shanghai is streamlining public services through a single app. It's not just one city against the world, it's an entire ecosystem of cities pushing each other forward. So the question isn't just which city is the most futuristic, it might be that the most futuristic city is actually the entire network, a collective brain working to solve urban problems on a scale never seen before. Alright, we've seen the amazing tech, the green miracles, and the awesome convenience. Sounds incredible. But we need to talk about the dark side. For every smart city solution, there's a serious looming question about control and freedom. The very systems that make traffic flow smoothly and payments seamless rely on one thing: data. Massive, constant, and deeply personal data collection. The widespread use of facial recognition, AI-powered cameras, and digital tracking means that in many of these cities, your every move can be monitored, recorded, and analyzed. Is a faster commute worth having to live in a state of constant surveillance? This brings us to the controversial social credit system. While not yet a unified national system, experimental versions in different cities link your behavior, everything from defaulting on a loan to jaywalking to a personal score. A low score could restrict your ability to buy plane tickets, get a loan, or even access certain jobs. The technology that powers the smart city is the same technology that makes a system like this possible. It creates a terrifying potential for social engineering, where citizens are nudged or forced into good behavior under the watchful eye of an algorithm. This is the dystopian risk that keeps privacy advocates up at night. Then there's the digital divide. The push for a completely cashless and app-based society is great for the tech-savvy, but what about everyone else? What about the elderly who might not be comfortable with smartphones or the poor who can't afford them? A society that runs entirely on digital payments risks creating a new class of disadvantaged citizens locked out of basic services because they don't have the right device or digital literacy. True progress should lift everyone up, not leave the most vulnerable behind. A futuristic city that only works for some people isn't smart, it's exclusive. Finally, we can't ignore the hidden environmental and social costs. Manufacturing all these sensors, servers, and smart devices takes a huge amount of resources and energy. The data centers that power the city brain consume electricity on a massive scale. Plus, the rise of AI and automation, while efficient, could lead to massive job losses in sectors like transportation, manufacturing, and even customer service. So, while these cities are solving some problems, they might be creating entirely new ones. The perfect futuristic city needs to be more than just efficient. It needs to be fair, private, and truly sustainable for everyone. We've been on a wild ride through China's urban future. We saw Shenzhen, the tech powerhouse that's also saving endangered birds. We explored Chengdu, the bold bet to build a perfect green city from scratch, and we peeked at the AI brains and eco-islands of Hangzhou, Nanjing, and others. Each city is its own universe, pushing the limits of what's possible. They're tackling some of humanity's biggest challenges with impressive speed and ambition, creating models the rest of the world is watching closely. This is a real-life sci-fi story unfolding before our very eyes. But this story has two sides. For every convenience, there's a worry. For every solution, there's a hidden cost. The dream of a perfectly efficient, clean, and safe city crashes head-on with the nightmare of mass surveillance, digital exclusion, and the loss of personal freedom. The line between utopia and dystopia is incredibly thin, and these cities walk it every day. Technology itself is neutral, it's how we choose to use it that defines our future. These cities are making their choices, and now it's time for you to make yours, so I'll leave it to you. After all we've seen, which city do you think is truly the most futuristic? Is it Shenzhen's balanced ecotech, Chengdu's blank slate ambition, or Hangzhou's AI-driven efficiency? There's no single right answer. Vote in the comments and tell me why you picked it. Would you live in a city that uses facial payment for everything? Is a totally cashless society a good or bad idea? I want to hear your thoughts on all of this. This conversation is just beginning. The future isn't something that just happens to us, it's something we build all together, so let's keep the ideas flowing. Comment below with the craziest, most out-there idea you have for a futuristic city. What would your perfect city look like? And while you're at it, tell me what topic we should investigate next. The most creative or mind-blowing suggestion will get a pinned comment. Thanks for watching, and let's discover the future together.